Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dark Ranger Romeo, aka Romeo Shan, and I welcome you to this exciting video where we're going to have a look at the Spellbreaker Elite Specialization for the Warrior profession slash class. This will be released in the upcoming Guild Wars 2 expansion Path of Fire. Let's see what it's like. Let's come up with a random name first and make a Char Warrior. Really looking forward to the expansion. Really looking forward to the elite specializations. Spellbreaker, if I'm correct, they're going to be giving them the option of using daggers, which is a new one for the warrior. To be honest, I wasn't. I expected them to maybe give the warrior a staff or something, because or a gun, actually, a handgun, which was what I was thinking about. So people can do something like, which they've been asking for ages, offhand pistol, right hand sword, very much like the infamous Char Ritlock. But as things goes, it turns out that they've come up with daggers for the warriors. Let's go to a quiet place, as we like being in a quiet place. Looks like a quiet place. Alright, so first of all, I think I will look at the attack skills for this character. The daggers are already equipped, so let's look at the first attack skill. So, precise cut, chain your foe. This attack deals increased critical damage. Skill 2, focus slash, strike your foe. This attack has increased critical damage again. And then the third skill is Keen Strike, which is strike your foe and gain additional might on critical hit. That's interesting. That's the animation for it. It looks like he's throwing some stones around or something, or sand. Pretty nice animation there. Alright, skill number 2. Aura Slicers. Leap and strike your foe, inflicting slow. Alright, so immediately you can see how the Spellbreaker is functioning as sort of a Spellbreaker, aka an Mage Stopper, if you will. If you've had a chance to look at the Mesmer Specialization coming up, I think the Spellbreaker will be a great way to shut the Mesmer Specialization down, possibly. I haven't started looking at this, so I'm not quite sure about this yet. Alright, leap and strike your foe, inflicting snow. Obviously, skills and actions are slower, and then arrows of attacks there. Alright, skill number 3 is disrupting stab. Inflict daze on your target. If your target is using a skill, this attack stuns and deals increased damage. Almost like confusion, except they're using that. Right behind me is Saya Blackflower, who is busy trying out the new thief specialization. Back to mine, of course. So disrupting stab, very quick attack. It dazes, it stuns for a second and a half. Actually, I can see how this can be a bit crazy. So you can probably start off with leap to close the gap, attack the character there to stun them, and while they're stunned, barrage of attacks there. Skill number 4 is Wastrel's Ruin. I'm not sure what Wastrel is. Maybe it's a place in Alona, or possibly a character in it, but let's check. Wastrel's Ruin. Strike your target, deals more damage to foes not using skills. That's interesting. These sound very similar to the kind of game mechanics there were in Guild Wars 1. I think there are some skills in this game that do extra damage when skills are not being used, but that's pretty. It says 1000 damage. Well, I don't know what the build is, but we can check. And it says deals more damage to foes not using skills, increases damage by 100%, guys. 100%. So if it's doing 1000 damage, If the enemy is not using a skill, it's going to do 2000 damage. One of the things up to skill 4 I've noticed is that it's definitely not a condition based build, condition based specialization. It's very much like the old glass cannon, if you will, or very much like a berserker rage type specialization. So which is good, because I've noticed, I wasn't sure, I did try out the mesmer specialization, which basically went completely condition based, I think. So this is pretty good. All right, skill number 5, Blade Storm. That sounds very familiar to me. I don't know, Blade Storm, I think that was a skill from Guild Wars 1, maybe, I'm not sure. I do remember there were some Sun Spear skills that you can unlock, melee skills, and I think one of them was Blade Storm. I'm not sure. From the sound of it, it obviously sounds like AoE strike. So unleashes a flurry of attacks that damages foes, so AoE, and reflects projectiles coming from the front. Aha! This is pretty good. Alright, this is probably going to last a few seconds. There's 7 times is the attack. Watch it. That is crazy. That is amazing. And it reflects projectiles, which is, you know, I think that's great. Reflects missiles. It doesn't say percentage of something reflected. It literally just reflects missiles. So I can already see this guy trying to reflect attacks from, say, assassins, using sniper assassins, or of course you've got the Revenant coming up with the longbow as well. You've got Rangers, of course, you use range anyway. I can already see this guy not only shutting down you know, spell-based characters, but also what you would call more you know, warrior style characters. Alright, so let's go crazy on this one. Leap, stun, blade storm, strike your damage. That's pretty good. Alright, let's check out the F1 burst skills. Okay, so you got something called the breaching strike, where you strike your target and remove wounds. I can immediately see, obviously, this guy being a bit of an annoying opponent for Guardians out there. But it does remove 2 bones only, according to this description. It's got a few blue skills, blue upgrades there. Conditions removed 1, endurance gain. So I'm suppose there's some traits there that are affecting this. Alright, the F2 skill is full counter. So you absorb the next attack against you and counter attack all foes around you. Foes struck by the counter attack are interrupted. This is pretty cool. I think this, I'm not sure. Let me just think. Absorb the next attack against you and counter attack all foes around you. Foes can immediately, if you're, for example, surrounded by enemies and, you know, AoE, this is obviously great. This goes well with Blade Storm. Really a very defensive way, plus with high damage. I think it's pretty cool. Alright, so the new skills that the warrior is going to have through Spellbreaker are meditation skills. On these skills, you can see it says 2 and 3. That basically means how many times they can use that skill in a row. That's something I learned from my previous video, which I did on Mesmers. By the way, I'm slurping tea at the moment. So if you'll excuse me, I'm just going to finish up my tea because it's going cold. Oh my god, I'm choking on tea. Moment, she got a sip left. That's it. Alright, I'm back in the game. Wait, this is pretty weird though. Physical kick. Oh no, that's not actually a part of the meditation line, is it? I was just wondering, in your pain, I was just wondering, those pictures look the same. Anyway, all right, so let's go to the healing skill, of course. The meditation skill is called Natural Healing. I think that's a name for another skill for another character. I can't remember. So the meditation is you lose bones and conditions, then heal yourself. Okay. So it's a bit of a trade-off, really. You remove conditions and bones. Bones. But it's a lot of healing, though. 11,600 healing. That's like, half of your health bar, really, if not more. A lot of healing there. All right, skill number, utility skills. Let's check them out. So the first one I've got there is Sight Beyond Sight. Reveal nearby foes and make your next attack a critical hit. Yes. One of the most annoying things in the game, of course, is having those thieves who somehow manage to spam like unlimited, unlimited stealth. And this is great. So I reveal nearby foes, make your next attack real. And it removes blindness, another key skill used by thieves. I don't know why, it's really weird, but the way I'm looking at this is turning out more like an anti-thief build, anti-thief specialization, more than taking down mage types like elementalist, for example. But that's all good. All right, so the next skill we can choose from there, Featherfoot Grace. Gain a burst of super speed and resistance. Resistance, of course, you stop the effect of conditions on yourself, and of course you got movement speed, which is greatly increased. This is great. This is great against characters like necromancers, who right now can pretty much do any possible condition there is to do. All right, so the next utility skill we can look at is Imminent Threat. You taunt nearby foes, gaining adrenaline for each affected foe. This is great. This is great for AoE situations, both in PvP. This is a great thing in PvE and PvP. In PvP, I can see this being quite helpful for capturing situations where you suddenly are about to get ganked by a group, and you're with some more low armor characters who can obviously do a lot of damage, but their survivability is low, so you can be there, you can taunt the foes, and then obviously do this on the foes. All right, so the next skill you've got is Break Enchantment. Strike foes around you and remove their boons. Deal more damage to foes that lose a boon. So once again, guardians can be in a bit of a trouble there. More damage to foes that you remove boons from. Of course, there was another skill there where it removes the boons, which I don't know where it's gone. Where the hell is it gone? Number 1 was it? Number 4 was it? I can't remember. Well, I sound like Peter Griffin. Anyway, so yeah, this is very interesting. I like the potential of these skills. One of the things I do like is that there's nothing here for me to say this guy is completely OP, in the sense that he's just this one-man army is going to take the whole team down. If anything, he seems to have a bit of a support aspect to him, and I think that's amazing. Okay, so of course, the elite skill. Let's check that baby out. Did I miss a skill there? Sorry. Meditation, taunt nearby foes, side beyond side, gain burst. Nah, that's fine. All right. Elite skill is called Winds of Disenchantment. Create an area of calm where foes cannot receive boons and lose boons every interval. Who lose boons? The enemies. Oh, they do. Projectiles entering this area are destroyed. Alright, there you go, guys. There you go. This is great. This reminds me a bit of the old bunker builds they used to have, didn't they, for Guardians? That was amazing. Let's check out the animation. So let's check the animation for natural healing. That's good. I think that's already an animation in the game. Okay. Side beyond meditation. Is this a ground target skill? No, it's not. Ah, nice. I'm really liking this. It's got a bit of a calm to it. All right. Imminent threat. Taunt foes and gain adrenaline. That's how you taunt a foe, mate. That's how you taunt a foe. That's great. All right. I don't know if that's what it looks like on, you know, a small character. Like, I can imagine it looking quite funny on an Asura, though. That would be hilarious. Like, ah! Anyway. Okay, so then let's try Featherfoot Grace. Whee! Amazon. Alright, break enchantments. Let's try that. Oh, I need to do a minute threat again. I love it. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, retaliation. Yeah, I was wondering. That looks like a retaliation animation. I forgot to read that off the skills. Sorry, guys. Anyway. Oh, wait. That makes this pretty cool. Can you imagine that? You taunt the foes. They all involuntarily attack you, but you gain retaliations. You damage them back for the next 5 seconds. My lord, this is great. This is great. I wasn't quite sure about this Spellbreaker first when I heard about it, but I can see it being very fun. I'm finding it fun just looking at the descriptions. Okay, break enchantment animation. Nice, nice. That breaking effect that's around it, really, you know, breaking enchantments. Come on, that's what I'm talking about. This guy is doing it for me in terms of the visual presentation of skills and what the skills represent. Really, you know, you see this, and you know you're somebody in your team or somebody in the enemy team has just removed bones from your team. You know, good or neither bad news. And this, I think I've seen this in action somewhere. I think this looks pretty damn well done. Winds of Disenchantment. Let's make this dome to prevent wounds on enemies and make them lose them. While, which doesn't last for too long, it says. Where is it? 1 second. Okay, but there's wounds removed. But is there any sort of... Okay, for 10 seconds every second you have this enchantment. Good, okay. And it's a lightning combo field. So there's a damage potential there for your team as well. Alright, let's try this out. I think this looks very nice. Steady your mind. Ah, look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. Alright. So, that's the utility skills and the attack skills there. Let us look a bit more at the traits. So, let's go to the traitings. There is Spellbreaker. I love this image there. The moment I saw this image, you know, I'm like, immediately you can sort of come up with ideas of how there might be lore behind this guy, you know, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I love this. It makes you wonder why they didn't have this in the first place. Alright, so Spellbreaker Conviction, first trait is there. Maximum adrenaline is capped at 2 bars instead of the usual 3. Only level 1 bursts are available. Okay, gain access to full counter burst and meditation skills. Okay. Only level 1 burst skills are available. I guess that's a trade-off there. What else? Alright. And of course, full counter, we've already looked at that. Alright, let's go on to the first trait line. You got Pure Strike. Deal increased critical hit damage. This bonus is doubled against boneless foes. There you go, guys. So you remove the boons and you attack them. You get increased damage against them. So you really take them down. So it gives you sort of an urgency to the factor in wound removal somehow on your character. The second skill is guard counter, guard protection after a successful full counter. So full counter is that skill there, and then right after that, if you successfully counterattack the foes around you, you gain protection. Which is great. All right, skill number 3 is no escape. I like the picture on this. I don't know if you can see it, but there's basically this huge warrior and this tiny little figure that's trapped, there because the huge warrior is blocking the path. It's great. So it's daisies and stuns. Daisies and stuns inflict immobilize. So that goes very well with skill number 3 there. That's you immobilize them, daze them, and stun them at the same time. That's really a barrage of attacks you can do there on the unexpected enemy. I think it's great, really. You can focus on one mage type character, and that's it. Fight starts. You're there. You look at the enemies on the list, for example, in PvP, that is. And you're like, mate, I'm going for the necromancer today. I'm going to take him down. And then you're just going to focus on that guy, annoy him somehow. But at the same time, also make him, you also do this stuff. And they're like, they're dying, but at the same time, they're like, oh, this death is beautiful. Am I in heaven? Anyway. So let's check out the next passive trait. Dispelling Force. Daisies, stuns, pulls, knockdowns, knockbacks, and launches remove wounds. There you go, guys. More wound removal. I had a feeling, to be honest, Spellbreaker would have more interrupts on it. But it seems in this case, Spellbreakers break more passive spells, more boons that are encouraging, that are basically improving your opponent's abilities. So it's different from what I thought it would be, but at the same time, I did think of how far a character can go by just interrupting, because it's not necessarily gonna give him some kind of damage boost. So yeah, I think this is pretty good. Alright, so Spellbreaker, they mean breaking spells that are enhancing the abilities of the foes. Alright, tier number 2 of choosable traits. You got Loss Aversion. Removing wounds from a foe deals damage and gives you adrenaline. Good, so obviously you do that, and then you can go into more counter attack style skills. Breaching Strike, removing more wounds. Great. Okay, you got Slow Counter. Full counter applies cripple and slow. Alright, that's good. You interrupt the foes, but you apply the cripple and slow as well. Their skill 3 seconds of slow can be really bad for some characters, especially like quick strike characters, because their strategy is to use all their skills at the same time in fast succession, because it's quick recharge speeds. But if everything is slower, then they might struggle a bit. All right, and then you've got Sun and Moon style. Sun and Moon style. It sounds less Elonian. I don't know. It sounds less Elonian or Elonian. Sounds more Canthan, really, but you know what I mean. Anyway, gain bonuses for each dagger you equip. Main hand interrupts grant quickness. Okay, and offhand heal for a percentage of outgoing critical damage. Great. So you obviously have these skills there. If you notice, skill number 1, 2, 3, attack the foes, interrupt them with daze, for example, and you get the sorry, I lost skill there. You get the increased critical grant quickness to you, so all your skills in action are really fast there. So for example, skill 1, if there's quickness there, that would be awesome. But then if you remember, try number 5, for example, it's more of a defensive skill as well, not just a damage skill, because you're there, you're reflecting missiles, and obviously this would be great because you suddenly get the opportunity to heal while you're there, because this is not necessarily a skill you'd use to wear down enemies as fast as you can. I think it might be a skill you would use when you're forced into a more of a defensive situation, and that would go great with the Sun Moon style. Alright, so the next passive trait is Attacker's Insight. Gain insight when disabling foes or removing wounds. Full counter refreshes all burst skills on hit. Okay, and it disables include stun, daze, knockback, pull. So obviously skill 3 already is there. You got taunt, of course. We looked at one of the utility skills where I love the animation. Imminent threat, that's the one. Okay, and that's great actually. It's Attacker's Insight that you gain is basically more power and ferocity. So damage boost there, and it stacks up to 5 times. Why not? Great. Alright, so go on to the third optional traits there. You got Enchantment Collapse. Removing a boon from a foe causes all nearby foes to lose additional boons. Once again, you remove the boons, you get damage bonus for having boonless enemies. This is great. This sounds very fun and interesting, but I can see that it's something that is probably more useful if you're targeting one enemy at a time. It says number of foes targets is 5, but I think generally if you look at the Spellbreaker, he's less of an AoE guy, I think. Alright, you got Revenge Counter. Full counter deals additional damage and grants resistance. Copy conditions on yourself to targets you hit with full counter. That's it. That's what's going to increase your survivability. When you're going to be fighting Necromancer, for example, conditions there, loads of damage there, you need some way to survive those conditions. You obviously already had 5 seconds of resistance for one of the skills there I mentioned. I can't remember there, but this adds to it, and of course it transfers the conditions onto your enemies, so that's great, increasing your survivability. Now this is where you can see this guy being more adaptable against different kind of mage types. Okay, and the third, last but not least, of course, is last but not least is Mage Bane Tether. Tether yourself to your target. If they move beyond the range threshold, pull them to you, grant might, and reveal your target every second. Oh yeah, so it says 8 there, so 8 times reveal, I think, for 3 seconds. Tether yourself to the target, so it's sort of like the Guardian's Dragon Hunter tether skill bit. You gain might, of course, and you pull the enemy towards you. I think that's great. That is absolutely great. Alright, so let's do, what should we do? Let's go with Mage Bane Tether. Cycles. I want to do cycles just to remove. Yeah, okay, let's stay there, because let's not. The reason I'm not going to do full counter much on this test is obviously because I don't know. I just want to test on dummies, really. All right, what's this? Okay, boonless enemies. That's going to do some damage on the guys. All right. Where's the dummy? I'm gonna go on this point because I think the dummies there are in a more quieter area. At least that's what I experienced in my last video, which I made on the Mesmer. I think you'll notice that my Mesmer video was a bit too long compared to this particular video, and that is because, as you notice, I was trying to understand the mechanics behind the Mesmer, of course, and of course there were loads of people there. It's a bit quieter now. That's good. All right. So, what was I going to do? I want to do this, but I don't know how taunting is going to help this guy much. Super speed, of course, resistance, healing. Meditation, wounds. I think I'll try fighting a guardian in a moment, but for this one, let's just try the first skills. I'm liking the stab animation there. This one, bang, like that, bang. All right. Leap at your foes, slow him down. Oh, that was a lot of damage. And pew, that sneaky little hit there to daze the enemy. Alright, breaching strike, let's try that. You strike your enemy and remove the boons, which do not exist. Oh, it's a leap skill, definitely. I actually didn't read it was leap skill, I just went behind for no reason. Okay, there you go. Now this, I don't know, does it, can you use it twice then, or what? So if I've got 1 bar, full counter, if I have 1 bar, oh no, I need 1 bar it seems. So if I attack it, it's gonna use a bar, is it? Oh, nice. That's what I'm talking about. That's full attack there, that's more of a defensive strike, I guess. I'm liking this. I like it a lot. Alright, let's go try it out on an actual Anomo. Actually, no, I should probably use all the skills, see what they're like. Alright. Thing is, there's no attack skills there really. Break enchantments, but that's breaking enchantments, so it damages foes. Alright, so let me look for a guardian somewhere. And this is where the game slows down, starts dying. Sorry about this, guys. Alright, let's do the Guardian, shall we? Alright. Start off with a leap, of course. Not using skills. Okay, I'll strike a wastrel strike because he'll be dazed and stunned. That'll be pretty good. Okay, so I do this. What's the leap? That this one? No. Kill 2 is the leap, alright? So 2, 3, 4 didn't work. Block his projectiles. I forgot either in that check. Counter attack him. That's what I'm. Oh, I've got somebody at my door.
Find out what that smells.
Got my homeboy, Night Rush, while I try out this new build.
That smells. Gonna make coffee.
Huh?
I was gonna make coffee in this and I forgot it in my room. This is where the smell was coming from.
A disgusting Rush. He just found an ancient coffee cup in his room, which he didn't wash. Check this out, Rush. Just check this out. You have to watch this. Alright, so watch this. This is the Spellbreaker Rush. I need to find a space where I'm not gonna get attacked, I guess. Quiet place. Chose the wrong place, didn't I? Watch this. I like this skill.
Silence.
You block all the projectiles, and while if your enemy's in there, you remove their boots.
What? Oh, stuff. Then I know. Oh wow.
Cool, isn't it?
That's pretty cool, man.
So there you have it, guys. Let's try it again. So let's try the leap skill. Watch this, Rush. Watch this. You have to watch this. Okay. This. This. Watch this. Oh, shoot. Sorry, my bad. Super speed this. Use my heal skill just for fun. Sorry, I was trying to show you a skill, but recharging. Okay, where is it?
Your enchantments are weak.
Alright, there you go.
Buster.
What?
So there you have it, folks. This is the Warriors' upcoming specialization, the Spellbreaker. I'm liking this a lot, and of course this has given Warrior an opportunity to be more like an assassin. I should probably, just before I go, I think I should probably try fighting an actual mage class, because otherwise defeats the purpose, doesn't it? If I don't fight a mage class. With a necromancer. I don't know necromancer's boons anyway. That guy's busy. I suppose Revenant has some skills that are enchantable.
Refreshing. Faster.
Liking the movement. Count. Oh, evasion. That was good. Whoa, what's going on there?
Gaining adrenaline.
Okay, I think that wasn't too good an idea, I guess.
That's the stuff.
Where am I getting this heal from, anyway? Oops. That was a bad idea. Let's try one more. Try the Elementalist. I don't know, Elementalist boons. They have many boons? Ah, I know. These guys have loads of boons. Do this. Back! Back! And that's where the lag comes in.
Adrenaline rising. Not now, not ever.
Interrupted.
In readiness, stillness.
Well, that was not good. I'm liking this. I'm liking this. Alright guys, that was it. That was the Warrior Spellbreaker Elite Specialization. Tell me what you think of this. Put comments in the box. If there's any comments about how I can improve this video, please do. And keep supporting Roshan Gaming. Sayonara!